Hello, let me adjust the camera. Hello. Hello. Okay, so we are making a video indoors because this weather is rubbish lately. Not only is it cold, we're all in agreement with that, but got up this morning and it's supposed to be bright and cheerful. It's grey, overcast, spitting with rain, and now they say it's going to be heavy rain from about 10 o'clock onwards. It's 9:30 now. So is it worth going out? No, it's not. Anyway, whatever, it is what it is. Do you know what? I must tell you this, right? Let me have a swig of my Slurpee. Cheers. Cheers. I must just tell you this. This is gaslighting in your face. Gaslighting in your face, this is. Did you see that the Met Office said that the May was the warmest May on record ever, and the whole spring has been the warmest ever? Now, the Met Office, obviously they're a government department. Their agenda is to say rubbish, to try and get the public to believe stuff, so they can push the narrative of global, well, they're calling it global boiling now. I wasn't global boiling in May. Do you know, everybody I spoke to, right, on our bimbles, they had hats, coats, gloves, and everybody said, "Isn't it bloody cold?" And I said, "It's crazy." I said, "You know, we're days away from June, flaming June, and all we've got is either rain or freezing cold." And twice in that month, my heating clicked on. During the evening, during the night, it clicked on. So that means the temperature came down so low that we needed some extra heat. Now, the Met Office is saying that it was so warm at night, that's why the month of May appeared to be so hot. Well, where are they living then? Nobody experienced any heat. In a minute, babe, we're going to go out in a minute, my love. Nobody experienced any heat in May whatsoever. I had the electric blanket on in May 2 or maybe 3 times, something like that. We did have a couple of piping hot days, really, really hot. But on the whole, I've never experienced a cold May and June. You know, we're in, I don't know what it is, 6, 7, 8 for June now, something like that, and it's crazy. Anyway, whatever. So their job is to tell everybody that we're all liars, that we all got it wrong. We weren't cold when we went out bimbling in our hat, coat and gloves. There was no need to, really, because it was hot. They've changed the colour of the map as well, the weather map, where it used to be sort of white, yellow or whatever, and now it's all fire. It's orange, and it's all full of fire and flames, and it even goes purple at some points, you know. So they're now saying that the extreme temperature of 15 or 16 degrees, extreme temperature. Well, I grew up in the 70s and we had some extreme summers. I think 74, it's definitely 76. My God, that was a hot year. And 80, I think it was 82 or 81. I can't remember which year now. That was a long, long summer, or appeared to be, long, hot summer, very sticky. Couldn't sleep at nights for a couple of years, a couple of summer times, a couple of years over the summer period, I mean. So it was a different time back then, but the weather was normal. It was called summer, and it was, 16, 17, 18, 20 degrees, 25 degrees, 30 degrees. It was called summer. Now, if we get 12, 13, 14, it's called extreme temperatures. That aside, I keep dribbling today. Have some more Slurpee Bry. Well, I will, thank you. So I just thought I would do a bit of a chatty video indoors because we're not going out. Well, we're going to play BALL in a minute. Apart from that, we're not going out anywhere. And we're not going out tomorrow either. So, and that'll be the end of the week, I think, tomorrow, is it? No, one more day. Oh, I am going out tomorrow. Anyway, shut up, right. Yesterday, I went to the doctor's, gave some bloods, and I will get the results early part of next week, about Tuesday, if my doctor's available, because I see one particular doctor for one particular thing. I saw I saw them for the bloods and what have you, about this constant tiredness. It's got worse over time. It's got really bad at times. Some days are worse than others, obviously, but I can get out of bed after being in bed for 6, 7, 8 hours, and I can make a Slurpee and sit here and fall asleep. Or I can sit here and I am so tired that my head keeps nodding, and eventually I just go off to bed. I think, my God, I cannot sit there like that. So I go to bed, and a couple of hours later, you think that you're going to get refreshed, and I don't. And I sit here and I'm going like that again. So I try not to go to bed. Really, I try not to go to bed, and I'm going to bed now twice a day, something like that, maybe 3 times a day, which sounds like a lot, and it is, but it's for about an hour at a time. So I'm having some hours that I am awake. Obviously, it's better if you do things, but I don't have a lot of energy with all this this tiredness. So it's this catch-22, isn't it? What do you do? I do my weights still. I'm doing that every single day, not losing any weight on that. But anyway, so I'm doing my weights. I keep the place clean and tidy, keep me clean and tidy. We go out for a bimble. We do various things. And if I end up doing too much, then I'm absolutely exhausted. Really, really exhausted. And by that, I mean I don't feel very well. It's not just tired. I feel unwell with it. And I'm not sure how. I just feel that if I don't lay down, I don't know. I can't even express it really. But anyway, so we will get the results of that, and then we'll see what they can do, if anything. You already know that they're going to try me on lots of different things again this year for my heart. And that, what is it? I'm not sure when it is now, but anyway, I've got a couple of things coming up about that, so we'll do that. But it's looking more and more likely that I'll probably need a pacemaker, which will be next May. He did say a year, and the conversation we had was May. So, that's looking likely. This great big hernia. That's the other thing with this tiredness. My brain's a bit, this great big hernia at times hurts now. I was going to say fairly often. Yeah, I suppose so. It never hurt in the beginning at all. And then I had the odd pain, a bit of a tweak. Now it's hurting probably 2 or 3 times per week. And when it starts hurting, it hurts for a number of hours. And I have to I got my, this is a hernia belt. Somebody asked about this, actually I should have shown this, but it's not very important. That there, you put on the hernia, right, so the hernia's on there, and then all the rest of it is very flexible, as you can see, and that's hard, there's 2 or 3 of them, and that's just to give your body shape. And then it's got a Velcro, so that again on there, and it goes on there, and it just sticks with Velcro wherever bloody hell it goes. Which way? That way? Yeah. So there you go. Good old Velcro. I try not to wear it because I find it obtrusive. I find it stifling, actually. I don't like, as you know, I can't wear anything over my mouth, my face. I've got to breathe fresh air. That's why I struggled so much, I think, when COVID was here. At most, I wore a visor, which did nothing. But then, we're now finding out, nor did the masks. But I walked around the hospital in a visor, and even with that, you know, I used to flip it up a little bit. So I was walking along with it like that rather than down. And a couple of times people did say to me, you know, nurses or whatever, you need to put your visor down really. And I said, it makes no odds. I said, you know, if it's there, right, and it ends about there, you've got all this air. It didn't make any sense. Anyway, now we're finding out that nothing much made sense. So I can't wear anything around my neck, around my face, around my nose or mouth, around me torso in any way. Same as that, you know, I just find it, I'm trapped, I'm stifled. I feel I've got to move, I've got to breathe, I've got to be outside, I've got to, you know, I start panicking a little bit for fresh air, for having nothing around me, like that, you know. If that makes any bloody sense whatsoever. Yeah, so that surgery will come up at some stage. He did say he put it down as a priority. And I said, well, what does that mean? And he said, well, it means that we're looking at a number of months, not weeks. He said it will be a number of months. So it is what it is. And I just have to put up with it. If it got extremely painful, then I would go back to the doctors, but I'm not going to go and waste their time. I don't really think it's any worse than what it was when I went to see him. I only saw him, I don't know, a month or so ago. It's about the same. I can't see it changing either. I'm very, very careful. When I do the weights, I'm very, very careful as to where I'm pulling on my body. And in other words, this area down, I'm very, very careful on that. Yeah, so I'm doing the weights, I'm doing a little bit of bimbling and stuff like that. The only other thing I'm doing is sort of limiting food to a degree, but I love my food. What I'm trying to do, I don't eat a breakfast, I never eat a breakfast. So that's, you know, a good thing as far as I'm concerned. So I never have a breakfast. I normally have something to eat at lunchtime. What I call lunch is between 11 and 2, something like that, which is just a bit of a snack. I'm trying not to eat that. I'm trying not to eat anything there. So then my main meal at night, which is between sort of 4 and 7, that's my main meal. So that's the first time I eat that day. Then what I do, I don't eat in the evening. I never snack or anything now in the evening. Or at least I try to. I try never to snack, you know. Now, it's very difficult really, because when I'm not eating, I get bloody miserable. I really do. So, yes, I don't eat a breakfast. Never eat a breakfast. I don't need it because I don't work. I don't need a breakfast. The meal at dinner time, or not meal, the snack really that I have at dinner time. And it could be a bit of toast, it could be some porridge sometimes, a bag of crisps, some chocolate biscuits, a cheese sandwich. It could be, if I got a salad, you know, bit of salad, then that goes into a salad roll or something like that. And not all of that together. So it's only something small, but it kind of keeps the pangs away. And I can then survive until the evening. So I do try not to eat, and I probably go 2 days a week with not eating that meal, which isn't great, but it's 2 meals that I don't eat per week, which is great. So you're looking at 7 breakfasts that I don't eat, you're looking at 7 suppers now that I don't eat, and you're looking at a couple of dinner time meals or snacks or whatever that I don't eat. So I should be really skinny, but I'm not. I don't weigh myself very often because I don't think you should. I think you can get a false thing, you know, you can feel quite deflated and annoyed and everything else. Let's see who this is. Oh, that's okay. I just got a text, but it's just a rubbish text really. There we go, dealt with that. So where was I? Anyway, forgot what I was saying really. Oh yeah, so yeah, you can weigh yourself, you can get false readings, you know, you can weigh yourself in one sort of place one day and one place to the next, or you're wearing something different or whatever, and maybe you got a pound heavier today or a pound lighter tomorrow. I tend to think I'm not interested in losing 1 pound or 2 pounds. It's great if you do, but I'm not interested in that. So I try and weigh myself about every 5 or 6 weeks, something like that. I give it over a month, and I've done it twice now, so about 12 weeks. It's about 3 months, and I'm about the same weight. I say about because it might be a pound or 2 lighter, but I'm not interested, as I said. So maybe everything's tightening up within me before I lose weight. What do you reckon to that? Who knows? Now, on the back of that, my glorious, lovely friend Paula has given me some advice, and she said, get some barley grass powder. Barley grass powder. And she said it really fills you up. Now, some of my problems is that I don't feel full enough most of the time. And it is a long time to go, from say 6 o'clock. Say I eat a meal at 6 o'clock at night. I don't eat in the evening, don't eat night, obviously. I don't eat in the morning, and I try not to eat at dinner time as well. So the next meal is 24 hours later. That's what I'm saying. That's a long time. But this barley grass powder, what it is just green powder, and you mix it up in a cup, probably about this sort of size. How to start taking it? A cup like that, you put about half a teaspoon of powder in, just in some water, and you sip that 3 or 4 days, and then you put a bit more, so you got a whole teaspoon, and then eventually a week goes on, you can have 1.5 teaspoons, and then another week, and that's 2 teaspoons. They reckon to take 2 to 3 teaspoons in some cold water and drink that without food. So first thing in the morning is what I've seen people recommend, because what it does, it fills you up, and it fills you up enough that you don't really fancy eating for a number of hours. So I'm hoping if I was to take that in the morning, then you don't get any of those cravings, those sort of morning cravings as 11s is. You don't want a food at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping. But also it's good for, or at least it aids sleep. I sleep terribly at the moment, but I often do this time of year. We go from the darkness to the light, and then I wake up far too early. I'm just going to turn this camera off, and then I'll turn it back on, because otherwise it might click off. We're back. So, it's supposed to aid sleep. I go from the winter where I can sleep, and it's lovely and warm and cosy and what have you, to suddenly light and birds and noise, and actually there's no noise really, but I've always woken up early, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, in the light weather, and it's difficult to sleep really, just because it's light. But it's supposed to aid sleep, so hopefully I'll be able to sleep a little bit better. We'll see. I mean, it might work and it might not work, but it's cheap enough to try, isn't it? So yeah, that's just a little bit of info for you. Barley grass powder. Thank you to Paula for that. We'll give it a try, Paula, and I can blame you if it doesn't work. I want to mention a couple of people really, just briefly, and that's my glorious, beautiful, lovely friend Lisa and my glorious, beautiful friend Martin. They've both lost their fur friends, pets, four-legged piece of love, whatever you want to call it. And within 24 hours they both went. And Lisa had a dog called Edna. Beautiful, glorious little dog, lovely little, well, not a little dog, was she, Lisa, really? But anyway, and Martin had a cat, a little black cat called Smokey. So Edna and Smokey, bless them, and bless you, Lisa, and bless you, Martin. It is so difficult to get through sometimes when you lose a pet, because they rely on you 100%, they're with you all the time. they're just there. There's an energy, there's a beautiful spiritual energy, I believe, about any animal that lives with you. And when they're no longer there and you wake up and they're not there and they don't want you, they don't need you because they're not there, there's so much now missing from your lives. That's how you're going to feel, you know. And you wake up every day, it's odd, it's quiet, there's not that energy there. It's horrible to get over. Lots of us have been through it, me included. And the only thing I can say is, I've got a saying, haven't I, really, which is, this too shall pass. But that means, really, I believe, everything is temporary. Even though the way you're feeling now is very raw, you're crying all the time probably, or you're feeling down all the time probably, or you're upset all the time probably. And in a week you won't be. Time is a great healer, and it really is. And you give yourself a week or 2 or 3, and you do start to feel better about things and what have you. And then eventually, you know, you never stop loving that animal. You never stop missing that animal. And you're always grieving just a small amount for that animal. If you could click your fingers and get that animal back, you would do. Of course you would do. Same with a loved one, with a human. You know, we miss our loved ones who've passed on. We miss them forever, really. But it's all temporary because we miss them in a different way. And when somebody dies, whether it be a pet or a human, we call them somebody, but when somebody dies, you never think you're going to be able to breathe again. Never. You know, it's the worst thing about living a life, is that we have to lose our loved ones, whether they're 2-legged or 4-legged. We have to lose them. And I know it's normal, it's natural, it's the way it is, but it hurts like hell. And as I say, you never think you're going to get over it. And then a week or 2 or 10, whatever, goes by. And then you get to a stage where 2 or 3 years, 10 years have gone by, and you look back with fondness, with love, with humour sometimes. You can tell people funny things that happened with that loved one, 2-legged or 4-legged. And yeah, of course you miss them. But you miss them in a different way. Everything is temporary. So the feelings you're feeling now, the rawness, the hurt, the upset, the trauma, is temporary, believe it or not. You can't believe it because how raw and upset you feel right now. But tomorrow you will feel slightly different. You might not even notice. And in 2 or 3 days you'll feel just a bit better, you know. Perhaps you will have had a meal in a couple of days' time. Perhaps you will have stood under a shower and played your favourite CD before you went to bed. Whatever. Perhaps you've done things that are kind of cathartic. One thing I did with my last dog, the day after, I removed his bed, his bedding, his bowl of water, toys, balls. He liked to play with things in his mouth, like tugging and things like that. So I bought him some of those long soft toys from charity shops, and he used to destroy them, and they were over the garden really, all ripped up. And I remember on my second day I picked up some of them and burst into tears, you know. Very, very sad. And I still miss him, and I still feel sad, and I can still well up in tears. You know, that never leaves you. But he was in my life for a long time, and I loved him dearly. I still love him dearly. And his name was Bowie, B-O-W-I-E, not Bodie, Bowie, because he had a blue eye and a brown eye, like David Bowie. And he had his own character. He was a collie. And I love him. I still love him, still miss him. We had some great adventures. What I used to do back in the day, you know, loads of different things really, but I used to get up and just say, let's go down the coast. And that was it. We was in the car and away we were going, you know. Or I used to go to little parties up at the Ridgeway and stuff like that, and he'd become my pillow at about midnight, and we just cuddle outside, sleep outside, and you know, he'd keep me warm and I'd keep him. I don't know. Dogs need to know, don't they, that you are there. So yeah, I'd keep him, whatever it is. One of the funniest things happened one day. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning. Got up, got sorted, and I said, Bowie, shall we go to the sea? And he got all excited. I said, come on then, mate. And I went outside to go to the car, opened up the gate, and he ran to the back of my car and leapt up in the air. I hadn't undone the bloody window, you know, the thing for him to jump in, the tailgate. And he literally hit the window and slid down and then looked at me like, what the bloody hell was that? And I laughed. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning. I remember stood there laughing my head off. But yeah, we used to do that. We used to do all sorts really, and I was much fitter and everything else back then. Didn't have this heart disease and stuff. And oh my God, I loved him. Absolutely loved every second with him. My only advice to anybody who's got a pet is to cherish every single moment you're with them. Every single moment. And I do. I've got a beautiful little boy. He's waiting to go out, so I'm going to have to end this in a minute. Bode, come here, my love, because I'm just talking about you. Hello. Do you want to come up here a sec? I don't know if you can see him. Oh, yes, you can. There you go. I'll be with you in 1 minute. Maybe 2. So everything is temporary. Now, if you're going through a divorce and you're feeling awful, everything is temporary. It won't last forever. You will get over. Things are in stages, aren't they? And you will feel better. Things will move on. Things will progress. Things will settle. Things will calm down. Everything is temporary, no matter how you're feeling right now. And if you're feeling ill, depressed, anxious, that's awful, and you think, my God, I can't cope with this. A lot of people sadly commit suicide because they feel so down, so depressed. All they can see is, I want out. I want out. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Everything is temporary. If you could only hold on, only give it one more day, one more week, you never know. A lot of these people that have committed suicide, if they could have given it just another 2 days, 3 days, they'd still be here now. So although we don't think we're going to get over things, it's important to remember this too shall pass, which means everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. Even our lives. You know, we're only here, 70, 80, 90 years? We are temporary. You know, a building, a tree, everything is temporary. Things are evolving and moving and changing and growing, and, you know, things are temporary. We are temporary. And that means our thoughts are temporary. Our grief is temporary. Our upset is temporary. Temporary. So please try and remember that, even through the most difficult times, whatever illness, whatever heartache, whatever trauma, whatever terrible times you're going through, and if you're grieving, or, you know, if something is not going right in your life, this too shall pass. It is temporary. You won't believe it at the time, but you'll look back and think, yeah, and be proud of yourself for getting through it. Okay, take good care. We'll be back another day. And be well.